Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've been doing well. We are here for a review of Super Android 17. Now, just before that, I will say I know the videos have been just a tad scarce. At least over the past week, I have been feeling just mildly under the weather. So in this video, at least too, if you hear like minimal pauses or whatever or cuts, it's me literally just coughing in the background. I'm sorry. But I also do want to give a quick shout out to AFFM Customs. Go check his Instagram out, check his eBay out. He will be having some conversion pegs for the Beast Deities Vegetas coming this Saturday at the time of this video. Yeah, this Saturday, so on the 21st, if I remember correctly. And yeah, go check his eBay out, check his Instagram out. It'll be in the description of this video. Also, BD001 is sold out on 5K Toys, so that just leaves the other two options really. After that, I don't really think that they're going to be doing any reissues or re-releases, so if you do want those figures, probably now is the best time to just grab one of them or whatever. But yeah, additionally, you could just wait for the other variants to come back out. We'll see. Anywho, let's get straight into this review, and as always, we're going to start with the design of the figure. So let's hop right into it. All right, so first things first, I mean, we always are going to talk about this. Everybody's community reactions, right? Now, over the last few months, I think a lot of people's concerns have been, is he tall enough? He looks short, yada, 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 right? I'm going to be honest, he's not the biggest figure, and maybe it's just been represented differently across games and stuff like that. I mean, he is a pretty tall character with both androids fused together, but I mean, he still is just a tad taller, in shfiguarts form than the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, which, it's not all that much bigger, but it still is big enough that I guess it can get by for most people. But I'm very intrigued that that's a stopping point for some to say they wouldn't want the figure, because this guy actually poses really well, along with the fact that he just looks pretty good. And I mean, your other options at this point for like an articulated Super 17 would likely just be Dragon Stars. Dragon Stars and maybe, the model kit stuff if they get to it for him. That's really it. I mean, I don't see any other options for Dragon Ball figures that pose decently, in my opinion at least. So I mean, if you're gonna skip this guy, I would reconsider. Just think about it, because I mean, Super 17, for the short appearance he had, he still is pretty funny, pretty cool. I'm trying not to insert the meme in here, but it may make an appearance somewhere in this video. I'm just warning you. But yeah, I mean, overall, he looks very nice. I do love the more lean look. A couple of things I do wish he had a little bit of boot swivel here. That is something I kind of wish Tamashii would do with more figures. Kind of questionable sometimes, but yeah, that's one thing I have a request for, I guess you could say. But overall, I mean, the design of it is pretty cool. It's accurate, I would say the strands of hair coming out the box, also be careful. The clamshells like press pretty hardly on them, so just kind of flare them out a little bit with your hands if you can. And yeah, I mean, otherwise it looks really, really good. And of course, these pop out as well. They did take a little bit of force for me to do it the first time, but they do pop off, which I really like, because it's just dope. I mean, come on now, who doesn't like that? But yeah, nothing much to say about his design. It's just pretty. I don't want to say basic, but it is what it is, right? It's Super 17. I would have liked to see maybe a bit more expressive options for him, though. I mean, these are okay. They're kind of simple, but after seeing just how well Tamashii has gotten with really sticking to an animation style, I really kind of want to see that more going forward, not just with specific releases. I'd like to see that become just a norm, if that makes sense. Because this is essentially a premium figure. I feel like they can go out of their way to do it. You know what I mean? Just the expressiveness you see on third parties. I feel like Tamashii could just do that a little bit more. You know what I mean? At least for premium Bandai stuff, that right there at least should be like a gold standard. But anyways, overall, I mean, it's pretty good. Let's just hop straight into the accessories. It's not too much to go over, but enough to talk about. So first things first, we got this new Goku, I guess you could say windswept head sculpt. He has two of them now, so here is the other one. This is the one that comes in his actual packaging for the GT Kid Goku, and this is the one that comes with Super 17. So you have a total of 3 GT Kid Goku head sculpts at this point. No Super Saiyan yet, but I mean, you'll get mileage out of this sculpt, I guess. It's not a bad one at all. But you also get another faceplate with him yelling, looking to the side. This is for the Dragon Fist effect here. And Tamashi was kind enough to throw in a whole little plastic insert that you can use for a Dragon Fist pose, which I have to say, I'm not mad at that inclusion, but I would have preferred maybe something a little bit more physical than a, plastic piece for it. That's just my opinion, but that also would have drove the price up for Super 17, and I think that's a little unnecessary. So yeah, but otherwise, I mean, it looks cool. Gets the job done if you want to use it. I probably won't. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of these types of things, as opposed to just like a physical piece, like how they do the auras and stuff like that. It is not my thing personally, but some people may be happy with it. That's perfectly fine. It is just a nice inclusion, and they should do it more often, just for the sake of it giving people a little bit of a bonus. I mean, they do it for other figure lines. I don't see why Dragon Ball can be excluded from that. Otherwise, though, like I said, this head sculpt, pretty good. Let me know in the comments you're gonna use it. I mean, when we get into the bonus head sculpts for a lot of these figures, I think the big thing is like, is it viable? Like, would you use it? And I always go back to the superhero Broly that came out, and he came with a windswept Gohan hair that I see literally nobody use. It's like you could have probably put something a little bit better in there, but it is what it is. All right, so back into Super 17 here. So he's got about 5 sets of hands, obviously the ones that are on the figure right now. Nothing crazy in terms of those type of accessories. It's just basic open palm, key blast hands, grabbing hands, etc., fist hands. He does come with his Electro Eclipse bomb, I think is what it's called. Looks pretty cool. Let's take it out the packaging, get a closer look inside. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see that well inside it, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's all right. It's not the craziest thing, but it's not the worst thing. And of course, with that, you get these 2 little pieces here that act kind of like, I guess, mini stand holders on the hands. I don't know what the word is for those. But you do get these with other figures as well, like you've seen with Turles, for example, with his, I forget the attack names, this is crazy, but you know what I'm talking about. He also gets 2 alternate hair pieces for the back of his head here that are a little bit more kind of windswept. I will say I do wish he came with alternate bangs. I just feel like, I don't know, it's like he comes with enough for the figure that makes sense, right? But he could come with just a little bit more for the creativity and just versatility in posing and different styles, I guess, because he often pulls his hair back and he often has his hair kind of leaning on the side here. If you know what I'm talking about, I'll try to put a picture if I remember. And I don't know, that's just a me thing, but you let me know, is that something you even care about? It's just about having all the options available to you, and that's one thing I think about a lot when it comes to SH Figuarts. He also gets a total of 4 expressions, so this kind of goes back to what I was saying. Just wish they were a little bit more, I don't know, spruced up. They just kind of feel they're Android 7, they're Super 17, but they could look a little bit more expressive. I don't know what the right word I want to use there is, but detailed maybe. They just look kind of like your standard SHF faceplates. Yeah, that's about it. Anywho, as far as accessories go, that's pretty much it. So let's quickly go over his articulation. It's nothing too crazy, but for this figure, like I said, it's really good, and I still think it's a great one to pick up. All right, so let's start here with the head sculpt, of course, and see how far up naturally with everything he's got going on. That's about as far as he can go. He might be able to get a little farther with the other hair pieces. I'm not entirely sure, but I'd imagine it's more or less the same. But he can look down pretty well. Not too bad. You do have this bow piece here as part of his scarf. It falls off pretty easily for me, so for now, I mean, I'm just going to take it off just so I don't lose it while posing it. But that's also the neat part, is that it just pops off, as opposed to it being something that potentially will break on you. So, anywho, he does have kind of like some mild articulation there in the hair, at least in these parts here. They don't necessarily stay in place for me all the time. Sometimes they'll branch out. So, I mean, crease them in if you want to. I kind of just let them do their own thing at this point because I'm not even trying to break them. But yeah, overall, I mean, he gets a good amount of range there, even with the scarf. So I'm pretty happy about that. Also, the GT Trunks gets pretty good range there as well. Despite it feels like he has such a big head though on that figure. I don't know why. But anyways, back into the main discussion here. So this butterfly joint, I think this is a separate piece. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Revoltech in a way, but either way, he has a really good butterfly joint here. You can cross the arms across each other. Let me just do that really quick. There we go. And again, I mean, this right here is not the most common thing, in my opinion, with Dragon Ball SH Figuarts, or even, I would say a lot of anime SHFs aren't able to do just this, crossing their arms together. So any figure that can, instant +5 in my book. Would like to see that just more streamlined though. But anyways, you know, he's got the range in the arms, can do the T-pose, has the bicep swivel, bend at the elbow all the way, and then you got the articulation there at the wrist. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, that pops out on both sides. So you just got to be careful. Don't pull it out too hard or whatever. Otherwise, though, functions just fine. Moving forward, ab crunch. Let's do the back. So, like I always say, these figures are always able to crunch back just fine. That's never an issue. It's always the crunch forwards that are just more questionable. But feels like he's got it down. You know, it's not too bad. Yeah. And this belt is a separate piece, so it's not really necessarily in the way, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty good in my book. Better than most other SHFs. All right. So here we go with the legs. The legs are actually pretty well done as well. I mean, I would say they're definitely better than the Tournament of Power Android 17. I mean, this one, he can just get in a full split, like, no problem. And then, of course, you've got your thigh swivel, full kick up, really good stuff. And, I mean, I guess that's the best part about him being more lean as opposed to super buff and big, is that he's able to kind of maneuver a little bit easier. And, I mean, again, every figure is different. I'm expecting this to be a little bit more streamlined as we start just flat out being in the quote-unquote 3.0 space. You know what I mean? We're still kind of kicking our way there, but if it should be a little bit more streamlined to where, yes, you see this on most figures coming out regardless. You got your full knee bend. You can actually squat pretty well. I'll put a quick photo up if I have it still, but he can squat pretty well. The ankles are pretty good. I like that he can essentially go all the way down there. Yeah, like I said, all around great articulation here. Now, there's nothing really for me to complain about. He got his boots with this, well, not the boot swivel, but good boot articulation here in the ankles, toe crunch, everything standard. Overall, he does what he needs to do. Now, very quickly, I'm gonna grab a Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I'm gonna get that GT Kid Goku, and we'll kind of close it off here with the height, you know, a little height comparison, and we'll give our final thoughts. All right, so we've got here Super Android 17 along with a Super Saiyan 4 Goku. This one is by Black Hole Toys, if you're wondering why the color scheme is a tad different. We also have the GT Kid Goku, and I gotta say, I don't really think Super 17 is too out of place here. I mean, he is not the biggest, of course, but he towers over him just a little bit, right? For the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, at least. And I feel like it works. You know what I mean? It could be better, but again, when has Tamashii shown a lot of consistency in this line and among other lines of height and scale? It's just not there. I mean, we've got a legendary Super Saiyan Goku that is smaller than a 2.0 Goku. We've got the boy from the future Trunks, who I think is taller than actually some of the 2.0 Gokus. So I mean, it's never been a consistent thing, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't have consistency. I'm just saying, you know, right now it's not perfect, and I don't foresee it ever getting to a point like that. But yeah, I mean, still, I think it's a great figure. If you're on the fence about it, honestly, I would say, look, it's the first GT villain figure we've gotten, and the only other options we've got at this point are going to be like Dragon Stars and such. And I don't know how much longer we'll have to wait for other characters. You know, I hope that that's not too long from now, but you know, Daima is the new up and coming thing, so they're going to put a lot of focus on that. And that is also going to put a lot of stuff on the back burner for Cell Saga and Buu Saga and whatnot, and even Dragon Ball Super stuff as it is. So yeah, I don't know. Overall though, great figure, great articulation. I definitely don't have a problem in that department with him. And like I said, I would have just, he comes with what he needs, so it's not necessarily like he doesn't come with enough, but he just could have gotten a little bit more extra flair, if that makes sense. Other than that, I don't have any real complaints with this figure. Really came out the box fresh, clean, and ready to go. And yeah, I'm ready for Jump Festa. I hope you guys are too, because I'm expecting some nice reveals there, even if it's not Dragon Ball stuff. Hopefully it's something nice for Dragon Ball that's not Daima, because I would love to see maybe another movie character from Z, you know, maybe not a Broly, but you know, maybe like a Gogeta or something. I don't know. Anywho, yeah, you guys let me know in the comments, did you guys pick Super 17 up? Do you like him? How do you guys feel about the bonus accessory as well? I mean, the GT line has kind of been doing that with Goku specifically, obviously, with, you know, how Trunks came with the tail piece for the Goku, and we're getting a Dragon Fist kind of effect here with Super 17. Do you foresee that continuing on with maybe like Baby Vegeta or anything like that? Let me know down below. Also, in case I didn't say this, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see maybe like a, I don't know, a large video. It would be definitely like an hour long, if not longer, or a stream, maybe going over like a lot of third-party stuff, because that there's just been so much that has come out through the whole year that I haven't had the time to just sit down and review everything that I've gotten over this period, and there's still stuff coming out. So I would love to talk about that stuff in more detail. So definitely just be patient and hang in there with me. Let me catch up a little bit. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. And when I get a little bit better, the video should start pumping out a little bit faster. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video.